You better not shout, you better not cry. Konami doesn't care if you've been naughty or nice. Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist season is here.
What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. Not even 5 minutes ago did the new September 2018 Banlist get released. I sprinted into the studio just so I can get this to you guys as quickly as possible. We have been dying and crying out for this Banlist, and it looks like we're gonna get it just in time for the 200th YCS, because transitioning over to the list, it looks like it's going to be effective from September 17th, 2018, which means it's going to be effective the Monday before pretty much the week leading into the 200th YCS. So thank God that's gonna happen, but we're gonna do the live reactions as always, and let's just go ahead and hope for the best. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Interestingly enough, the next list will be no sooner than November 20th, 2018. So something just to keep in mind there. But let's go ahead and see. So far, nothing here. The first new card, Samantha Lotus, is going to be banned. Okay, so this is basically a card that has been popping up in a lot of OCG FTKs. Essentially, it's kind of like looping with Firewall and stuff like that to get to that point, but it's kind of in a combination with Topologic Bomber Dragon, and essentially being able to resummon the Samantha Lotus in the end phase and pretty much just burn your opponent to death. So pretty good preemptive hit here. Again, I'm kind of weary to see like what else they're gonna hit if they're preemptively hitting Lotus. It's kind of like when they hit Phoenician Cluster Amaryllis on the previous list. I know we don't have plants or anything like that, but this is a good preemptive hit to pretty much stop a lot of degenerate FTKs that we might see later on down the line. All right, so that's pretty good. Moving on down here. Nightmare Goblin is banned. Oh, who called it? Now, the big thing here is that they didn't ban Firewall Dragon because it's the only Link monster to hit the list, but a lot of us were saying that if they didn't hit Firewall Dragon, which, you know, you can still do a lot of crazy shit with Firewall Dragon, even though Nightmare Goblin's banned. Nightmare Goblin was like the card in second place that if they don't hit the Firewall, they basically had to hit Nightmare Goblin. So it kind of sucks because Nightmare Goblin's a really cool card, but this was a must hit if Firewall didn't get hit, and I know a lot of people, including myself, are pretty fucking pissed off that Firewall's still legal. I'm not gonna lie, but I think just because of the tie to the anime and everything, kind of just being the signature, you know, face of Link summoning, they couldn't get rid of Firewall, and Nightmare Goblin is where we are at. So I guess that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and see what else. MX Saber Invoker is banned now as well. I think a lot of people were saying that Invoker should probably have its time as well. I'm not really too sure about that, but at the same time, with the strength that Goki did have, I think this kind of makes sense because Invoker was pretty much just the enabler, more so even than, you know, Isolde. Isolde obviously is still very powerful, but obviously Isolde didn't get hit on the list. I think Isolde just being such stronger generic warrior support, especially for Link monsters, I think it's good they didn't hit that, so I'm kind of happy to see that they hit Invoker. Definitely had it coming, but at the same time, you know, I think it's probably one of those hits that's for the better. It's pretty much being only used solely for Goki FD, or not FDK, but just extra linking in general. All right, so moving on down, 3 hits so far, 3 pretty good hits. And okay, so that's it for the forbidden cards. So Samantha Lotus, Nightmare Goblin, and then we had the Invoker. Okay, I think I'm pretty okay with that. I wish Firewall was in there, but I think overall that kind of solves what a lot of people were complaining about in terms of just hitting what needed to be hit in general. So I'm pretty okay with that. So moving on down to the limited, Assault Core is limited. What the fuck is going on that Assault Core is limited? ABC's not even doing anything. Like, is this kind of to preempt any, like, ABC FTKs? I know a couple of those kind of existed in Japan, but ABC has been such a fringe contender at the moment, especially just at high tiers of play. Why on earth would they hit A, Assault Core? That is just very perplexing. But are they going to hit B and C too? Or like they going to give it like the Burning Abyss treatment? I don't know, but just one of those weird things. Elemental Hero Stratos! Oh my god, our savior has returned. Stratos is off the list. I cannot believe that this is happening. Now, the OCG's had Stratos for a very long time, but hero players are going to fucking rejoice over the fact that this card is unlimited. Or not unlimited, but it's just at 1. But I mean, unbanned would be more appropriate. Oh my fucking god. That is insane. Okay, is it going to change a lot? Not really, but you know, if you're playing heroes, go for it. I mean, that's just incredible. Morphing Jar is back. Holy shit. Morphing Jar? Oh no. Oh no. This is a little bit scary. Okay, Morphing Jar's back. I mean, it's a flip card. It's a flip card, but yeah, Morphing Jar's back. That's crazy. I don't really think it's going to do a whole lot, but it's such a powerful card that, you know, I don't know, man. That's one of those things that, like, I guess we'll have to see. I don't think it'll do too much, but Heavy Metal Foes Elektra Might is limited too. Okay, I think this makes sense. A lot of people are saying that if a lot of the meta decks get put in check, that Pendulum has to as well. I was one of the people saying that. Definitely a good call here. The deck can still perform with one Elektra Might. It just doesn't have like a ton of follow-up plays. It can still set up multiple disruptions just fine, and the deck is still perfectly viable. Just kind of put in check a little bit. I think that's a pretty good hit. And then Psyframe Lord Omega, another hit. Wow, okay. I kind of like this because it kind of stops all these decks from doing crazy hand loops and summoning like triple Omega turn 1. I kind of just like Omega as a nice one-of. Now, it kind of takes away from like zombies and decks that can really just abuse synchro spam, but at the same time, it's kind of nice because no one really likes getting hand looped, and I kind of think that's for the better. So that's pretty all right. Oh, wow, there's a lot coming up here. Exciton Knight is at 1. Exciton Knight is legal again. Now, to be fair, this card came out in Battles of Legend last year, was reprinted, and it's still been on the list, so I guess this was coming for the past year. They just finally remembered, oh yeah, we reprinted that card, you know, it can come back. Oh boy, Exciton Knight. I am not too happy to see Exciton Knight. I do not think that is a healthy card for the game. But it's back, so, you know, what are we gonna do? And then a Hero Lives getting limited to 1 as well. I think that's kind of to balance Stratos being back at 1, which I don't know if that's really necessary, to be honest. I think Heroes could be just fine with 3 Hero Lives and 1 Stratos, but who knows? I guess, you know, they know what they're doing. Holy fuck! Card Destruction's back! What are they thinking? The fuck? Why is Card Destruction legal again? This is such a bad idea. Okay, this to me tells me that they are really trying to push Dangers, because this is basically going to be the best enabler for like, this is terrifying. Like, if Dangers could have gotten any other card that they could have dreamed of having off the list, this is fucking it. Card Destruction is horrifyingly just oh my god, this is... Oh man, get ready, boys. This is a fucking list. Holy shit. And Hornet Drones is limited as well. This is limited in the OCG, and I really like this hit because Sky Striker can still function perfectly fine with a single Hornet Drones. It hits every other deck that really capitalized on playing 3 drones and 3 engage. So I'm actually perfectly okay with this hit. It pretty much keeps Sky Striker in check while kind of bringing down the power level of that engine for other decks to utilize. And then holy shit, Super Poly's back too! What is going on? They're just unbanning so many cards! Oh my god, Super Poly... Oh my god. Okay, so... people are going to have mixed feelings about this. I really hate this card. Any card that has a spell speed 4 type effect that says your opponent cannot respond to it, I fucking despise. So I'm not happy to see this card. Is it going to see a lot of play? I don't really think so. It might go in tandem with that Mud Dragon card from the Megatins. But, oh my god, you can use this in Thunder Dragons when that comes out in Soul Fusion. Oh my god, I am not looking forward to getting Super Poly'd for my life. Okay, and then, alright, that's it. Wow, that was so many cards on the limited, and so many came unbanned. Like, Card destruction is legal again, and Stratos and Super Poly. Oh my god. All right, and then going to semi-limited, Cosmo Dark Destroyer getting semi-limited is rather interesting. I don't want to peek down there yet, but Cosmo Dark Destroyer, okay, I think that's a pretty nice boost for Cosmo. Will it make the deck competitive? Probably not, but I mean, a second Dark Destroyer is a pretty good start for that deck. Then we have Called by the Grave, semi-limited. What? Why are they semi-limiting this card? This is like one of the cards that's necessary to combat hand traps, and they semi-limited it. Like, what the fuck is this? And then limiter removal too, but like no one, like, okay, Cyber Dragons, I guess, but limiter removal is such a win more card. But Called by the Grave to 2? I don't understand why they would have a hand trap deterrent get oh, that's just, oh, that's so weird. And then Scapegoat is at 2. I think it's at 2 in the OCG. That's kind of okay. I guess it's one less goat. I don't know. That doesn't really solve anything. People are still going to play it. And then Terraforming to 2. Wow, okay. Again, that doesn't really do anything. Scapegoat and Terraforming to 2 just marginally hit consistency and power in some of these decks. But it doesn't, like, every deck that plays field spells is still going to play 2 Terraforming. So that's such a marginal hit that it's so odd. The big one here is Called by the Grave. I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy about that, but I mean, it is what it is. And then the unlimits, Apocryphal Towers, okay, irrelevant. Destiny Hero Disc Commander, this is something that it's getting errated in the Legendary Hero decks. It's awful, don't worry about it. It's not Disc Commander like it used to be. Burial from a Different Dimension to 3 is kind of cool. Again, probably not going to see any play, and Ring of Destruction going to 3 as well. Again, people are barely playing it as is, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Wrapping up this reaction though, what are my initial thoughts? We wanted a list, and we got a list. Holy shit. Goki got put in check, but I don't think it's dead by any stretch of the imagination. I still think it's very playable. Hitting Goblin and Invoker are very big, but Isolde is still legal, so that's something to keep in mind. Firewall is still legal, so the deck can still do a lot of shenanigans. You can still make co-links, you just don't have Goblin to make it easier, although Goblin does enable a lot of plays. That's very important, but yeah, Goki I still think is very much playable. Sky Striker's perfectly fine. It does lose a couple copies of drones, but it doesn't matter. The deck is the best deck in Japan right now, and it has drones at 1, so the deck is still perfectly playable. Trickstar Sky Striker got minor hits. You have 2 less copies of drones, 1 less terraforming, and 1 less scapegoat, I guess, so it's still fine, like it's still playable. And then Altergeist didn't get touched at all. Draco didn't get touched at all. There's still like plenty of decks that pretty much came out of this completely unhindered that were like the tier 2-ish kind of decks, and that's kind of okay. Assault Core getting hit randomly, I don't understand that. Heroes got some like yes and no support with Stratos coming back, but then Hero Lives getting limited, so that's kind of weird. Elektra Might kind of put Pendulums in check. Pendulum is still very playable as well. Omega, people weren't really playing it, but that's perfectly fine. I'm really scared about Exciton Knight. I am horrified about card destruction, because when we get the dangers in Soul Fusion, that deck could just become utterly real, and card destruction might just become an auto win card. I'm really not happy about Super Poly, but overall, and Called by the Grave is just such a weird card to hit to semi-limit, but I think it brings Goki's power level down enough. I don't think the extra link is going to be nearly as easy to facilitate. I think it's probably still doable, but not to the extent that a lot of people might think. It might be a lot more difficult. You might need more cards to combo off with it, but a lot of the decks that were playable in the best decks before are still playable now. Their consistency just kind of got slightly hindered, but I still think all these decks are still incredibly powerful. We might see a rise in some of these other tier 2-ish or maybe roguish decks since they didn't get touched at all, like Altergeist is perfectly fine with this list, and there's a lot of cool things for people to experiment around with, and it's pretty nice that the 200th YCS is actually going to be a display for what people can come up with in the next week and a half, so we can kind of see how this format is going to shape up. So I'm glad we got the list for the 200th YCS. Guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this list as a whole. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Be sure to let me know. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you found this video entertaining, consider becoming a YouTube channel member, because just by supporting the channel in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And there's gonna be a lot coming now that we got this list. So thank you guys again, and we'll see you next time.